So here's the problem. Here's my use case. If I'm on a Zoom call with person A, person B, and me, and I'm mainly listening in, I can type all my notes on a separate screen using Evernote or OneNote or some digital mechanism. But when I'm on Zoom and I'm driving the call and I'm presenting, it's very hard to make notes electronically because I'm talking and showing slides. Or maybe I'm in a one-to-one. It's very hard to open up your laptop and start typing in notes on a digital medium. So inevitably, we move to paper. We move to a notepad. And the great thing about a notepad, it's got the pen, which is awesome for your brain, but ultimately the notepad runs out of paper. So I start using sheets of paper and I write notes and I write more notes and then I run out of physical paper. And then the worst thing is they're not stored. So this story starts with me looking for a way to augment the process and replace this paper process with an alternative to my digital notes, but getting something closer. Let me tell you a story. So it all happened one day when a colleague brought along his Remarkable and showed me the amazing Remarkable device, which I will show you shortly. It was a great device, but at the end of the day, it just took notes. No matter how hard I tried with this, there's nothing it could do for me to take notes. And I have been an Apple guy for many, many years. And so this was such an inferior product, I couldn't use it. So we moved away from that. And simultaneously, it was Christmas. Or it was just after Christmas. And my son's birthday. And my wife had identified this amazing device called the Rocketbook. And what's amazing about this Rocketbook is that it has a series of pages. It looks and acts like paper. It's cheap, it's effective, and it's kind of digital. And what I mean by it's kind of digital is that you write your notes, you take a photo of this, and this literally by putting a cross in the symbol at the bottom, you could send it to a variety of cloud services: Google, Dropbox, Evernote, OneNote. Really cool. The downside is then after that, you basically use, if it's a downside, you use this cloth and you clean the page. You basically wet it, you clean the page, and you've got a reusable book with all different types of templates in it. Fantastic. So super cheap, super effective, but you have to clean it and you have to take a photo. And in the end, that was just too much of a faff for me. So that got put in the magic cupboard. So I was still in search of the ultimate device. So I decided to treat myself to yet another iPad. I've been using many iPads for many years and decided to get myself the new iPad mini. This is an awesome device, but it's premium, it's multifunction, but my use case was all about notes. And the problem with notes on the iPad is you're basically writing on glass, which is actually quite hard to do and get used to it. It doesn't feel like paper. It's too slippy. So therefore, the option was to buy the paper-like screen protector, which is quite good, but is still too slippy. The net of that is that this device was a keeper, but it was very expensive. So I needed to look for yet another device. So still in search for an eInk device, I decided to try the Kindle Scribe. It's cheaper, it has usability in terms of Kindle books, and it has notebooks. But as you'll see later, fundamentally, it was very limited. Kindle books, yes, it had. Basic notes, it had. But actually, the cloud storage was virtually non-existent. And for that reason, Kindle Scribe got returned. So it was on to my next device. So the next device I chose was the Boox Nova Air 2 7.8. Here's a picture of it, a mock-up on my iPad, and it was a great device. The good thing about this was that fundamentally it was Android, it was multifunction, it was portable, but ultimately it was slow, the Notes app was complicated, and it was expensive. So whilst it kind of worked, but it was slow, whilst it was portable, it just didn't work. And as a guy who's always used an iPad, It just wasn't for me. So yet again, this is another one that got returned. That then moved me into a new league quite recently, when I moved on to the Boox Note Air 3 C. Now this one is an Android device, as you can see, as I'm struggling with it. Most importantly, see its color. So this has the potential to be the device. You can see here it's got a variety of Android apps. Its color, you can see some colors on here, hopefully. And if I click on Sky News, for example, you can see we have color here. But unfortunately, whilst it's got color, the colors are pretty hard to see. It can run video, you can probably see that, but it's pretty hard to view. So, albeit the technology is difficult on eInk, the advantages of color are pretty minimal. Likewise, the Notes app itself was also, as mentioned before, pretty hard to use. So here we can see here, we can write in the Notes apps. It's Android, it's multifunction, it's color, but it's expensive, poor color. And the Notes application, whilst it's quite good and complex, is nothing like the iPad Notes application. And also it's limited cloud. And whilst you can download Evernote, OneNote, and all other applications that are supported on Android, they don't really work very well. And they don't work very well with the pen. So the pen only really works in this proprietary Notes app. So unfortunately, this got rejected. At £500, it was way too expensive. So off to another device. So I went back to another device. I rebought the Scribe. I looked at the notes, and I was much harder with my, could I survive with this? I bought it in the Black Friday sale, so it was cheaper. So I can put here, it's cheap. But the fundamental problem is its cloud and synchronization. It is basically zero, no sync. This was an absolute no-brainer. Not only that, in terms of annotations, if you annotate a document on the Kindle Scribe, it goes nowhere. It stays on this device. It doesn't sync anywhere. So it's completely and utterly useless for reviewing a PDF and annotating it and trying to send that to somebody else. Guess what? This is going back. So you will be amazed to hear that this has taken me an entire year to go full circle. And I've concluded after a year of reviewing all of these different devices, the Remarkable 2, then the Rocketbook, then the iPad mini, the Scribe, the Boox Nova Air 2 7.8, the Boox Note Air 3 C, the Kindle Scribe, that the Remarkable 2, at least for my use case, is far superior. And in this case, it just takes notes. Great notes, great interoperability, as I've discovered. You can read PDFs on here and EPUB documents. Annotations are synced. And the only downside for me is that it has no backlight. It's a really great device. I can send PDFs to it. You can go into Google Chrome. You can basically, at one click of a button, you can basically save a web page and send it directly to the device. And it syncs. So if I just show you this here, I'm going to basically annotate this device. Or this particular document. I'm going to put a smiley on there. I'm going to write YouTube across this. Okay, I'm going to save that. And what I'm going to do now is to move essentially to the Remarkable app on my iPad. And here what you should see is that file that I just annotated, this one here, has already synced. And in fact, it's even in color. So actually the Remarkable 2 app on the iPad actually or any other device stores color and the original source. So the net of all this is, Remarkable is the winner. After all these months, this is the guy that I'm keeping. And I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm pretty exhausted. That's a whole year of reviewing e-tablets. This is the one. Thanks for watching.